What's up guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to this week's video. Reason all I'm saying this week is because I'm trying my best to upload every weekend. The reason is because I get off early on Saturdays. Yes, oh my god, that thing's annoying. For some reason this thing's beeping. I think it needs a battery, so I unplug it when I'm working inside of here. But getting back to what I was saying, on the weekends I get off early off work. So what I do is on Saturday I come to the garage, I film my videos, and then on Sunday when I'm off the whole day, I go back edit and I try to post for you guys that same day or later on that night. But for today's video, we're actually not working on the red eye or the charger outside. Well, that one's been done because last weekend when I finally got the calipers back, I was installing them as you guys watched in part 8, I believe. So I was bleeding the front tires or the front calipers. And so good thing I caught this, first of all. So as I'm bleeding it, I noticed there was a puddle of fluid right under the caliper. It was not coming from the bleeder valves or the brake hose. It was actually coming from the seal, because of course when you are blasting calipers, you got to disassemble them so the dust or whatever that material is doesn't get in the pistons and the seals and all that. So I guess the seal was folded or whatever he said, and he's actually redoing it now as I'm filming this video. So I'm gonna have 2 videos ready for you guys back to back, and once I get the caliper back from him, we're gonna reinstall it, bleed the system all over again. I have to go buy some more brake fluid, that .3. You don't have to buy the Mopar stuff, I'm just OCD like that, so I like to get the genuine stuff. But yeah, so that's gonna be it for this car. So this video is going to be a request I've been getting a lot through DM. A lot of you have been asking, especially on my YouTube comments when I read them, that someone wants to see a review of my toolbox and what kind of tools I use to do these builds. So I thought it was a good idea, maybe something different. You guys have been seeing me work on cars ever since I started uploading, so maybe this video will be a little bit different and we could talk about something else for once. So let's do that. I'm gonna talk to you guys about what tools I started off with and what tools you should buy. Don't go for the fancy stuff from the get-go. Tools could be very expensive, but it is a very good investment. It's not something that will lose value. Something that you always need, especially if you're trying to get into this field, whether you're a mechanic, if you're trying to work on cars, to start off, anything that has to do automotive, of course, you'll need some tools. So let's do that. Well, I'll go by drawer. I'm very organized with my tools, so it'll be really easy to tell you guys what's in here. So like I said, I'll start from here, go down, and then from here and go down, and we'll see what happens. Alright guys, so I'm going to start off on this top section over here, which I like to call my deck. This is where I keep all my more expensive tools, especially the latest ones I bought, and my charging station. I keep all my batteries charged up. That way when I need to replace the one I have, I always keep 2 on hand. So one's charging and one I'm using. So I keep those plugged in, and I have a power outlet right over here. And this goes to the back of this box and stays charged up. I do not keep it running 24/7. I just turn it on when I'm working. I shut it off when I'm out, just by using the switch over here. So let's start off on this side. Under my hats, I have 2 sets of wrenches. I got a ratcheting set and I have just a regular standard. These right here are snap-ons. I paid close to $240 for these, and I still remember I paid about $180 for this set over here, and these were $150. So like I said, these are more expensive, but later on into the video I'll tell you guys why I bought these and why I paid more when I could have just went, which I did in the beginning, with a regular set of wrenches, which costed like 40 bucks. So like I said, we'll talk about that in a minute. But these over here are from 10 millimeters to 19, and this over here goes a little bit smaller. It goes from a 7 to a 19. What you'll notice in tools, it has different quality. So what I mean is, I was doing a job, it was an intake job on a Suburban, and I needed a wrench just like this to open one of the back bolts that's behind the motor, and I couldn't fit this end onto it because it was a tight spot, so I had to use this side. And believe it or not, the Craftsman ones were a lot thicker. This gauge was like maybe this much more, so I couldn't use that tool, which I couldn't get the job done. So I had to invest in some better tools, which I was surprised. I never knew, these will matter accordingly to, different brands. So as you can see, it did. So this one's a lot more low profile than the other ones, and that's why I went with this set. Which was a good deal, because when I bought this, I got these half off, which kind of was a bang for your buck. So that's the reason why I bought that. And then to go with that, I bought some ratcheting ones. These are really kick-ass because you don't have to keep flipping it, you just keep going. So that's my wrenches over here. And then my sockets, they're not shallow, but they're not deep sockets either. They're about, I'll say, medium. It goes from a size 8 mil to a size 19, and these are 3/8. These I use the most. I use these literally like every single day. And these are, you'll see a difference. Some are chrome and some are this color black, because these you can put an impact to it. They're a lot more stronger and durable. So that's the difference in chrome and then the black color. And my speaker here, actually my wife bought this for me on my birthday, so shout out to the wifey. Always need your tunes when you're working on cars. And like I said, I got my charging station over here. And then one of your most important parts you'll need is a flashlight. I always have this thing on charge, and it dies out pretty quick. As you can see, it's charging as we're speaking. And this turns green when it's fully charged. I got my phone on charge, and this thing will route to my power outlet source right here. And then finally, my torque wrench is back in this box over here. This is a Husky. Back when I used to be a loop tech, we were required to torque the wheels down, which is, of course, it's very necessary, especially when you don't know what type of power your gun is giving out to tighten up that wheel. So we just go back and double check the wheels with a wrench or a torque wrench, and make sure those wheels are tight. So that's why I still have that. That was about $100. I bought this ages ago. That's why it's still here. It's actually pretty dusty. So that's it for my top deck. That's what I have. And I keep a couple magnets up here with my razor blades, so I'm not stabbing myself reaching for them. You got my mirror here. Back when I had my Mustang, I stole the logo off of it when I was changing the grill, and I stuck that up there. That was like 6 years ago. And that's it. Oh, this actually came off of one of my donor cars. My silver 300 that I built, the recent one that I just sold. This was in the Destroyer Gray Charger that I parted out. It was in the dash, so I just glued it on here. Thought it was pretty cool. But yeah, guys, that's it for this top section, and now we're gonna go down drawer by drawer. Of course, do a lot of talking. But if you're trying to get into this field, try to buy some tools. This video is gonna be really informative for you, and it will kind of tell you on what tools to go with, what tools to cheap out on, because you don't have to spend that much money. So let's go ahead and do this. Alright, so starting off with my first drawer over here. I'm really organized with tools. You guys will learn that it's a lot more convenient to work when you have your tools all set up and organized. That way you know where you're looking for, and you're not just scrambling around looking for the tool you need. But anyways, my first drawer has my electrical equipment, I should say. Got my electrical tape, my wire strippers, my crimper, my torches. The reason why I have a whole bunch of these is because they run out of fuel really easy, and then when you refill them, I don't know why, but they never work again. Well, before I invested in a soldering gun, I used to just use a torch. I used to heat up the solder and just melt it down to the wire, the harness I'm working on. But now later on, I'll show you the gun I have now, and I don't really use these anymore. I got a couple razor blades. I got my adapters in here. These are for one of my guns. I'll show it to you since I'm talking about it. This gun over here, you can't put a direct socket to it. You have to put an adapter first, which is pretty cool because let's say I need to use a 1/4 inch. I have my 1/4 inch adapter. If I need to use a 3/8, which are these over here, I can use a 3/8 adapter, and then my 1/2 inch. This one is really, I rarely ever use this because half of the 1/2 inch bolts, this is not strong enough to remove. So the most common tool you'll use are these two, the 3/8 and a 1/4 inch. And these things you can buy anywhere. You can buy them off, even Home Depot sells them. You can buy them off Lowe's. I bought this recent kit from Harbor Freight, $10. Can't beat that. I have two sets on me just in case I lose one. I'm not stuck. I can't use my gun. So just in case I lose a set, I got another replacement right away. And then of course your mirror, that's pretty self-explanatory. If you're trying to look into a spot where your eyes can't see, you'll use a mirror to look behind the object. So that's it for first drawer. All right guys, so here is my second drawer. This is where I keep all my pliers, side cutters. I have some older vice grips in here that are just miscellaneous. I got a newer set now. And then I bought this tool over here. This is a good tool to take off door panels, clips. As you can see, it sits just like that, and the clips will pop off without having you to bend up and damage the metal or the door, whatever you're working on. So quick example, this over here is a snap-on side cutter, right? I paid, I think it was like 70 bucks for this, or $60. Again, this is a long time ago, so I don't remember exact prices. And then before I had this, I had a whole set of Craftsman pliers, side cutters, that I bought for $40. So I got all these, the ones that have matching grip handles. These came in a kit, and I bought it for 40 bucks. And a tool, which costed more than all these. I honestly didn't buy this. I had an older snap-on side cutter, and I got a warranty because it broke off right over here. And that's the reason I have a newer one. But like something like this, you shouldn't have to invest, 60, 70 bucks just to, cut some wire or whatever you're trying to cut. You could buy something cheaper which does the same job like this one. And honestly, I use this one more than I use this one just because it's more lighter and it's comfortable at least. So that's what I mean by, there's some things you don't have to spend that kind of money on, and there's others which you'll need, which I demonstrated with that kit over there. So that's it for this drawer. Just my pliers, and here is my exhaust hanger remover, which I use when I'm taking off an exhaust, of course. And this makes it a lot easier because you don't have to be in there trying to pry it off with a pry bar or greasing it up. Just saves you some time. And I bought one of these. This is like 50. I actually bought this from the Mac tool truck, not Matco. And that's that. All right, so moving on to drawer number 3. This is where I keep all of my 3/8 sockets. I got my shallows, my deep sockets, my extensions, of course. And I, believe it or not, I only have 3 swiveling 3/8 that are actually swivels, unless I put an adapter to it, and I can make any of these a swivel. But anyways, these are the most common sizes I use. I have an 8, a 10, and a 15. Actually, I bought these off of OfferUp. This guy was selling them individually, so I just picked up the ones I needed. This over here is 10 bucks. Now, I don't know how much these go for now because the Sears where I live, they actually shut down. But I was at Sears with my mom getting her a lawnmower, and then in the return section where people return open box items, I found this kit that had, of course, all the sockets in there for 10 bucks, which you cannot beat. I mean, these things are pretty pricey, of course, when you're getting the ratchet with it and the extensions. And there was nothing wrong with it, so I bought it. And then it had a lid to close it up, which goes right here. But I just broke it off and I put the whole thing inside of here so everything stays in order. I'm really OCD, so if something's out of order, I get really pissed. And then same idea with this. I bought them on sale. These are also Craftsman's, but what I didn't realize is they are 12 points, which I rarely use. I like to use my regular ones that look like that. But I still keep them on hand. I mean, you never know when something like this might come across you. These are the most sockets I use. These are all scrambled up. I got some Harbor Freight ones. I got some Craftsman. I got some Snap-on ones. And that's it for this drawer. Oh, and I showed you guys this, but if you don't have, so let's say I needed a swivel size 10 mil, and I didn't have it, what I could do is grab my little handy dandy adapter, and I could put this to it, and now this is a swivel. This right here is a Snap-on. This is I remember, probably 30 bucks, but as you can see, I still have it because I use it a lot. So that's it for this drawer. Now, drawer number 4, this is where I keep all my electrical testers. I got my power probe tester over here. This one's pretty cool because it has a fuse that blows off just in case you touch something that you weren't supposed to touch. So that pops off and then you can reset it without damaging the actual tool itself. I got some multimeters if you're gonna go into electrical, test for resistance and all that good stuff. I would recommend you getting a better quality one than the one I have, just because it's more accurate. You know, just for example, if you're testing continuity and you're trying to read the exact decimal of you know the resistance or whatever, these are not as accurate. They still do the job. I've been doing it for a while, so I know when something's reading right or wrong. But you can always start off with a cheaper one. These are off Amazon, about 20 bucks a piece, and you can start off with that and then move on later when you're actually getting into the bigger jobs. So that's that. I got some shrink wrap in case I have to shrink up some wires. I got some spare fuses, some spare relays, just in case I need one, of course. But that's really it for that drawer. All right, so moving on to the bottom drawers now. I got my first set of wrenches I've ever bought. This is years ago. I didn't think you could buy these anymore. This is from 8mm to 9mm. I still use these till this day. They do me good. I got my impact sockets right over here, and I got my little kit of these are good for taking off fuel lines. Of course, you gotta release the lock that's in there, and these are Craftsman's. Bought this for about $10. On some jobs, you'll see that these don't work that good, and I'll show you the other kit I have in the drawer below. But they still do most of the things I need them to do. Then I got my pin kit. These are good for taking off, you know, electrical connectors or anything that you can't fit like a screwdriver in there. These work awesome. I got some shorter ones and some longer ones, depending on what you need it for. And the second drawer under that, this is my 1/4 inch drawer. I got my 1/4 inch, the shallows right over here. Got my deep sockets over here. Believe it or not, I still have my first ratchet I've ever bought. I picked this off of Harbor Freight. Man, when I first started mechanic or doing this kind of work, everything I had was Harbor Freight. But like I said, and then you'll learn that some of the stuff you'll need better quality on, and that's when you'll invest your money. Anyways, I bought this. It was like literally like $7-8, and I still have it and it still works. You take care of your tools, they'll last you a long time. Some of the stuff breaks, which is not really your fault, it just ages. But like I said, you take care of them, they'll do you a good time. And then these are here are my snap-ons. This is my fancy little collection over here. And then I got my cheaper ones, Craftsman and Harbor Freight, right over there. These are the fuel line tools I was talking about. These work a lot better than those other tabs. You have more control of releasing the lock with these. The most common one you'll use is a 3/8. So if you ever watch me taking off a fuel line, I'm most likely using this. And then this over here is my legendary clip remover. I use this on literally everything. And finally, I got my O2 sensor sockets, which I've never used these ever. I only use this one. And this is what you'll take off your O2 sensor with, they're pretty standard, so you don't have to buy, you know, multiple tools. They're pretty common to use the same size. Now my next drawer, every mechanic has one of these drawers. I call this my junk drawer. Has everything from some different kind of bolts to some wires. I got some caps in here that I have no idea how they got here. And you won't believe how much times I go back in here and I find what I need. So like for example, if I need some screws, I come in here, I find the screw I need. Instead of throwing these away, just throw them in this drawer, and then maybe one day you'll use them. So that's that drawer. I call it my junk drawer. All right, so moving on, I got my little hammers over here. Now, quick story, since I remember this. The reason why I bought a snap-on hammer is I had a Sears hammer, right? And this one day I was hammering a wheel to take it off. It's just been on there forever. And as I'm hammering the wheel from the inside, of course, I'm not gonna damage it from the outside, the whole head of the hammer just broke off. Literally just snapped right off. So I invested in a snap-on one, and I beat this thing to hell, and it still survives, as you can see. And I got my rubber mallet, just in case I'm trying to use this on something I'm not trying to hurt. I got my heat guns over here. I got my tire pressure gauge over here. And then this is a tool I was telling you guys about. This is my little soldering gun. And I don't have to use these torches anymore. But this thing still takes the Zippo fuel in here, so you gotta fill it up, and it kind of runs out pretty quick. Burns it off faster than you'll think. But that's why I keep a refill thing on me, and just use that. So, and this thing can be used for several other things, like you can use it as a torch, a hot knife, a blowtorch, heat blower, whatever. But I've never used these. I just use it as a soldering thing. So that's that. And then in this box over here, and I'll show it to you. This is my spark plug sockets that I remove spark plugs with. What's fancy about these are, it has a grip and it has a magnet in here that will catch the spark plug when you're taking it off. If you don't have a set of these, you can always use a regular socket and then use a magnet to pull out the spark plug from the cylinder head. But I just like to make my life easier, so I buy the proper tools. That's that. And then we're moving quick. We're at the bottom drawer, and these are my pry bars. I got some zip ties, just some miscellaneous stuff. I got a breaker bar in here. And I actually, I'll show this to you guys. I still have my first ever scanner in here. I bought this used a while back. I forgot how much it costed me. But when you're first starting off, of course, you have to have a scanner to check for DTCs, check for codes if you're trying to go into this field. But later on, you'll have to buy a better tool because this won't read all the newer stuff. So that's why I use a Snap-on, which I bought this for $3,300. I bought this brand new. But like I said, you'll have to sometimes invest in these things, but don't buy it unless you know you're gonna make your money back off it. Of course, when you're doing diagnostics for someone, it's not free. So that's how you're making money back off this. And there's my scanner. Only thing that sucks about this is that you have to update it every year, and the update is not cheap. It's like 500 bucks. So, like I said, unless you really need it and you know you're gonna make your money's well worth it, go ahead and invest in one of these. But that's that for my scanner. Now we're moving on to the right side of the toolbox, and this is where I keep all my 1/2-inch tools. I got my shorter ones and I got my deep ones, and these are for removing axle nuts, which I actually have 2 kits, which I'll show you in a second. I got some extensions, and I got my swivel to make these a swivel if I need to. So that's really it for that. And we'll move on to the second drawer. All right, here are all my screwdrivers, as you can see. Different sizes for different needs. Got some Craftsman's in here. Most of my stuff are Craftsman, as you can see. And towards the back, because this is going to fit the other way, this is what I use to break up a hose when it's been on there for a while. And this thing doesn't have a brand on it. I don't even know where I bought this from. But if you don't have one of these, you can always use just a regular plier with a piece of cloth that you won't damage the hose with. And then this drawer over here, these are my guns, my power tools. I got my Makita. I've had this thing for 4 years. Still works. The only thing that broke off of it was this glow-in-the-dark bezel that goes around here. Fell off, but still works like a champ. And so you could buy this as a kit. You could buy the drill, the actual gun itself, and it comes with a flashlight, all for I think 200 bucks. Well, I forgot the flashlight with the battery in a customer's car, and that thing was RIP. So what I did was I bought me another battery just so I have 2 on hand every time I need to use it. Got some drill bits in here, got some more extensions in here, and that's really it. And then I invested into one of these Milwaukee ratchets because there's some stuff, of course, that you can't get into with this gun. So this one works pretty good. And you won't believe how powerful this thing is compared to that. This is a lot more better. And of course, I got my battery always on charge for that. And then the last drawer on top here, this is all my drill bits, my Allen wrenches, my security torques. Everything you see is in here. Oh, these are Craftsman. Again, you guys heard me say that a million times. This over here is a Metco. The reason why I bought this other set and I paid them more money for it is because these over here are security bits because they have this hole in it. This set didn't have that, so I had to buy this when I was I forgot what I needed this for. I think I was taking apart a PC and I needed some one drill bit. But sometimes I do use this for other things, and it comes with a nice little ratchet. And that's really it. So that's all my tools over here. Oh, I bought this for one job only, and that was to take off the seats on like a Charger, a 300, a Challenger, whatever. It uses this style screw or bolt, and you guys probably see me use this in my other videos, but that's the reason I have that. Now moving on to the bottom, I got some more wrenches in here. These are my little stubbies. There's some spots where you can't fit in. These work pretty good. This is what I use to pull up spark plugs. Alright, so keep going. This over here is good for taking off the newer style canister oil filters. Most of the Chryslers use these. My claw, take off oil filters. And these are my axle sockets in here. So what's cool about this is that these like literally leave memories. So I still remember, this is like, I'm not even joking, like 5 years ago, I went to AutoZone because I had to rent a set. I was doing an axle job on my neighbor's car, and I needed the right socket to take the nut off. So I went and rented a set, and I used it, got the job done. Then I realized I'm probably going to need this another day, so I just ended up buying it, which it wasn't too much, probably like 40 bucks. So yeah, it's pretty cool when you look at things and you remember how you got that. And these are all my air tools, which I rarely use now because, you know, I'll tell you guys in a bit with technology nowadays, this thing actually beats all these tools over here, which is pretty impressive. I still got my cutoff wheel, still got my drill bit, and I still use these sometimes, which with my little air compressor over there. And then finally, my other drawer. This is where I keep all my spray cans, my, you know, brake cleaner, my solvent, whatever that's, you know, can related stays in here. Got some gloves. And then this is my favorite tool ever. This is my Dewalt. And this thing could take off. I've never had a problem with any bolt not coming off with this gun. It is a 1/2 inch, but you can always use an adapter, which I did forget to mention to you guys. But you could buy these adapters over here, and this is a 1/2 inch adapter, but it converts it to a 3/8. So let's say I wanted to use that gun, and I needed this socket, so that will slide onto that, and then now it's capable to work on there. Alright guys, and finally, my final drawer. This is a whole bunch of stuff that are junk, and not junk really, but I couldn't fit in a different drawer. I got my pin, my punch pins in here. Got some more wrenches in here. So cut-off wheel, discs over here. Just like miscellaneous things, I just keep them in here. Alright, now for the toolbox. So I went through the drawers, I told you guys what kind of tools I have, and all that good stuff. But now we're gonna talk about the toolbox itself. When I first started doing this kind of work, of course, I didn't have this size of a toolbox. I literally have something that was half of this, and it had maybe half the drawers. It didn't have this many drawers. But you'll learn as you go, and you know, expand your tools, and you buy more tools, you'll have to have a bigger toolbox to hold up all that. And till this day, I still have tools that are in my little cart over here, because I just don't put them back in here. But I paid $800 for this, and here's another example. So like, let's say for example, you go buy a Snap-on toolbox for $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, right? But you're really not using that to do your job. You're just using it to store your tools in. So the big difference is when you have an $800 toolbox and a couple $1,000 toolbox, which does the same job, still holds your tools in, it still locks it up so no one goes through my stuff when I'm not here. So that's the type of investments you guys have to think about when you're buying tools. There's some of the stuff you'll have to spend the extra money on, like I kind of explained going through the box. But some of the stuff are just ridiculous, and you shouldn't have to spend triple the amount to get the same tool that does the same job. But like I said, I bought this off Sears. It was $700. And at the time, I was low-key broke, so I couldn't, you know, afford the whole $700. And they had this deal going on. If you buy it, anything over $500, you could get a 1-year interest-free finance on it. So I financed a toolbox, which kind of sounds funny. But of course, it's well over paid off. And I use this thing every single day. I mean, I have invested. When you invest in your tools, they pay you off because you could do, you know, other jobs that will get you some money. So I've never thought of this as a bad investment or something I'm wasting money on. And now I'm gonna show you the other tools I have, which are of course things I cannot fit in my toolbox. I got my heater, especially when you're working in the cold, you have to have something that's gonna keep you warm. And I got my my cherry picker over here, which I bought this from O'Reilly's, which was a 2-ton jack, and I upgraded it to an 8-ton jack just so it can hold up to the stuff I lift with. And I got me a tool cart. It's just because it's annoying to keep running back and forth from your toolbox when you need some tools. Whether instead you could just lay them down on here, use them, and at the end of the day, clean up your tools and then put them back in there. And other than that, I mean, that's really it. I mean, I got some 4 jacks, of course. Got me a set of those, all 4. And that's it. Those are the tools I use to do all the jobs you guys see me do. Alright guys, so that's going to be it for today's video. I know I did a lot of talking, but like I said, if you're going into this field, this is some pretty good information to keep with you and to remember when you're going out there and buying some tools. I hate to see someone get ripped off and buying the tool that you really don't need when you can get it for a lot cheaper than what you paid for. Oh, and then these lights over here, the reason I bought them is because I work in the garage and the lighting in here sucks. So I bought me 2 of them from Home Depot, and I just keep them on each side, and it kind of just brightens up the garage when I'm in here. But that's gonna be it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you stay tuned for the red eye. I'm gonna be back and working on this tomorrow, hopefully after I get that caliper back. We're gonna get this thing knocked off, put the wheels on, and then pull it out. It's not gonna be raining tomorrow. It was actually raining all day today. And that's gonna be it. So stay tuned for that. As always, I do appreciate you guys for watching the videos. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to see all the future builds I'm gonna be doing on here and the content I'm gonna be putting up. And hit that like button and support your boy.